Louisiana is famous not only for its rich culture and history, but also for its haunted film locations. From the old Louisiana state capitol, said to echo with restless spirits, to eerie plantations and swampy backdrops, filmmakers find the perfect chilling atmosphere here. Actors and crews often report cold drafts, flickering lights, and ghostly figures moving in the shadows. These strange encounters make Louisiana a favorite destination for horror films, blending real-life hauntings with Hollywood's spine-tingling stories. Now we will visit the most haunted film locations in Louisiana. Number 1. Loyola University in New Orleans. Loyola University in New Orleans is not only a respected institution of learning, but also one of the eeriest places ever used for filming in Louisiana. Its Gothic architecture, old lecture halls, and dimly lit corridors have drawn filmmakers searching for an authentic haunted backdrop. Movies such as The Skeleton Key 2005, Deja Vu 2006, Green Lantern 2011, and The Big Short 2015 all shot chilling scenes here. But what lingers after the cameras stopped rolling is far more terrifying than anything written in a script. Actors have spoken of icy drafts sweeping across closed rooms, as if invisible hands were brushing against them. During the filming of The Skeleton Key, a lead actress suddenly screamed when a heavy wooden door slammed shut behind her without anyone touching it. Crew members rushed in, only to find her shaking, whispering that she saw a dark figure standing in the corner of the classroom, staring at her with hollow eyes. That corner has since been avoided even by night guards. The Grand Library of Loyola, with its towering shelves, became the site of an unforgettable scare while filming Deja Vu. As the director gave instructions, books began to tumble one by one from the top shelf. At first, everyone laughed, thinking it was a loose fixture, but the laughter died when the books formed a perfect circle around the actress standing in the middle. The actress fainted on the spot, and production was delayed for several hours. Perhaps the most chilling tale happened during Green Lantern. Late at night, while shooting in one of the abandoned classrooms, an actor felt his costume being tugged from behind. Turning quickly, he found no one there, yet his shirt bore claw-like scratches. The makeup team thought it was a prank. But when the director himself saw shadowy figures moving across the blackboard, he refused to continue shooting until priests blessed the room. Even the modern set of The Big Short was not spared. Crew members reported hearing footsteps echoing across the empty chapel, followed by the sound of chanting in Latin. One cameraman dropped his equipment when he claimed a pale nun walked past him, her eyes glowing faintly red. Loyola University stands as a place where history and horror blur together. Every film crew that steps into its haunted halls leaves with more than just footage. They leave with chilling stories of restless spirits that refuse to be silenced. Number 2. Lafayette Cemetery. Number 1. Lafayette Cemetery. Number 1. Hidden deep in the heart of New Orleans' Garden District, is more than just one of the city's oldest burial grounds. It is a place where the dead seem to refuse rest. With its cracked tombs, narrow walkways, and towering mausoleums, it has become a favorite for filmmakers seeking an authentic atmosphere of dread. Movies such as Interview with the Vampire 1994, Double Jeopardy 1999, Dracula 2000, and Jonah Hex 2010 all filmed haunting scenes among these tombs. Yet behind the silver screen lies a darker truth. The actors and crew who worked here carried home terrifying experiences they would never forget. During Interview with the Vampire, the cast felt uneasy from the very first night shoot, and Rice's chilling story seemed to awaken something in the cemetery. One actress swore she saw pale figures drifting between tombs while the cameras rolled. When the director called cut, the figures vanished into thin air, leaving her trembling in the humid night air. Crew members later whispered that the cemetery was angry at being disturbed. While filming Double Jeopardy, the team experienced electrical failures that defied explanation. Lights flickered and cameras powered down as if unseen hands drained the energy from their machines. At one point, an actor rehearsing his lines froze mid-sentence, his eyes wide with terror, claiming he heard whispering in his ear. The whispers repeated his lines before he even spoke them, echoing in a mocking, ghostly tone. Dracula 2000 faced even darker events. As one actress walked past a crypt, a violent gust of wind slammed the heavy stone door shut behind her, nearly trapping her inside. When crew members rushed to pull her free, they found deep scratch marks on the inner surface of the stone, as if something had been clawing to escape. The actress refused to step foot back into the cemetery after that night. The most disturbing events came during Jonah Hex. A director's assistant claimed to have seen a ghostly woman dressed in black lace, standing silently among the tombs. Thinking she was an extra in costume, he approached her, but she vanished before his eyes, leaving only the smell of decayed flowers in the air. Lafayette Cemetery No. 1 remains more than just a filming location. It is a stage where the dead still perform their own terrifying stories, leaving every visitor shaken, convinced that the restless spirits are always watching. Number 3. Spanish Town in Baton Rouge. Spanish Town in Baton Rouge is the oldest neighborhood in the city, founded in 1805. And though it is best known today for its colorful Mardi Gras traditions, behind its charming pink flamingos and historic homes lies a world of shadows. Its narrow streets, ancient cottages, and eerie courtyards have attracted Hollywood crews searching for authenticity. Films such as All the King's Men 2006, The Reaping 2007, Pitch Perfect 2 2015, and Undying Love 2011 used the district for atmospheric backdrops. Yet every production that entered this haunted quarter left with more than they bargained for. Stories of spirits that cling to the brick streets, unwilling to be silenced. During the filming of All the King's Men, the crew transformed one of the historic homes into a set. But as cameras rolled, strange knocks echoed from the attic above. Thinking it was old plumbing, they ignored it, until an actress entered the house alone and ran out screaming. She later said she saw a man in 19th century clothing standing at the top of the stairs, his eyes hollow, his body dissolving into mist. The reaping brought even darker energy. Late one night, while filming a tense dialogue scene in a Spanish Town courtyard, a director suddenly halted production when he noticed shadowy figures gathering in the alleyway behind the actors. The crew rushed over with flashlights, but the figures melted into the walls. Moments later, one of the lights exploded, showering glass across the set. Several members swore they heard children laughing in the darkness, though no children were anywhere nearby. Even the lighter energy of Pitch Perfect 2 couldn't escape the hauntings. While shooting a cheerful musical number outdoors, sound engineers picked up strange whispers on their microphones, low, guttural voices speaking in Spanish. When replayed, the voices repeated the lyrics of the song in mocking tones. The actresses were so unsettled that filming paused until priests blessed the street corner. Undying Love experienced the most terrifying incident. A lead actor fainted in the middle of a scene after feeling invisible hands choking him. When he regained consciousness, he showed red marks across his neck. The director, shaken, admitted that several crew members had already complained of feeling watched, especially near the old iron gates of Spanish Town. Spanish Town may look festive by day, but when night falls, its haunted history resurfaces. For every filmmaker, it becomes clear. In this district, the past is alive, and it is not friendly. Number 4. French Quarter Streets. The French Quarter of New Orleans, with its iron balconies, cobblestone streets, and centuries-old buildings, is the beating heart of the city, and its most haunted. By day, it bursts with music and laughter, but at night its narrow alleys whisper with the voices of the dead. It has long been a favorite backdrop for filmmakers, with movies such as Angel Heart 1987, Interview with the Vampire 1994, Runaway Jury 2003, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button 2008 using its atmospheric streets. But the real stories are far darker than what appears on screen, as actors and crew have found themselves face to face with restless spirits that still roam these haunted blocks. During Angel Heart, a production assistant was walking back from a night shoot on Chartres Street when she saw a man in a black suit and hat standing motionless under a lamp. She greeted him politely, but when she turned back for a second glance, he had vanished. Crew members later joked about meeting the devil, though no one laughed for long, especially after the assistant fell mysteriously ill the next day. Interview with the Vampire was plagued with unsettling events. While filming on Royal Street, extras dressed as 18th century townsfolk blended eerily with shadowy figures that didn't belong. One actress screamed when she realized a pale woman in a torn wedding dress, who had been standing among the crowd, was not part of the production at all. When security rushed over, the woman disappeared into the night, leaving behind a faint trail of perfume mixed with rot. Even the legal thriller Runaway Jury couldn't escape the quarter's hauntings. As the cast prepared a courthouse scene near Jackson Square, The director noticed a figure standing on a balcony watching them. Thinking it was a curious resident, he waved, but the figure stepped forward and then walked straight through the iron railing before fading into thin air. Several crew members refused to return the next day. The eeriest story came during the curious case of Benjamin Button. Filming on Bourbon Street late at night, the crew captured strange orbs of light drifting around Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett. At first thought to be camera issues, the lights formed the shape of a cross before vanishing. Sound engineers later played back the audio and discovered faint cries in the background, like dozens of voices begging to be heard. The French Quarter is more than a backdrop. It is alive with spirits, and every filmmaker who dares capture its beauty finds themselves tangled in its ghostly grip. Number 5. Madewood Plantation. Madewood Plantation in Napoleonville is a towering reminder of the Old South, with its massive columns, sweeping staircases, and silent halls. Built in the 1840s, it has been admired for its beauty, but those who know its history whisper of restless souls that never left. Its haunting presence has made it a favorite location for filmmakers, with productions such as A Woman Called Moses 1978, The Beguiled 2017, 12 Years a Slave 2013, and Autopsy 2008 all filming scenes here. But behind the glamour of Hollywood lies a trail of chilling incidents that left actors, directors, and crew shaken to their core. During 12 Years a Slave, the mansion's grim history seemed to come alive. One actress described hearing soft weeping as she stood in an upstairs hallway. Believing it to be a fellow cast member, she followed the sound, only to find the corridor completely empty. Moments later, her candle prop blew out by itself, even though there was no draft. Crew members avoided that hallway afterward, convinced it belonged to someone long dead. A Woman Called Moses, an older production, faced equally disturbing moments. The director recalled that cameras repeatedly malfunctioned whenever scenes depicting suffering were filmed in the old dining hall. Batteries drained within minutes, and one cameraman swore he felt icy fingers press against the back of his neck. When he turned, he saw a figure in ragged clothing standing by the window, only to watch it vanish before his eyes. The filming of Autopsy was nearly halted after a terrifying encounter in the basement. A young actress went downstairs alone to prepare for her scene when she suddenly screamed so loudly that the entire set froze. She claimed she saw a bloodied woman crawling across the floor, reaching toward her ankles. No one else saw it, but when crew rushed in, they found deep scratches in the dust, fresh as if something had just moved there. Even The Beguiled, though more recent, was not spared. While filming near the Great Staircase, the director and cast watched as a chandelier above began to sway violently, though there was no wind. The actress standing beneath it fainted, later saying she saw dozens of shadowy figures climbing the stairs at once, their faces blurred, their footsteps echoing in unison. Madewood Plantation stands as more than a historical landmark. It is a stage where the ghosts of slavery, sorrow, and tragedy continue to make themselves known. Every filmmaker who enters its halls leaves with more than footage. They leave with memories that chill the soul forever. Number 6. Old Louisiana State Capitol. The old Louisiana State Capitol in Baton Rouge rises like a Gothic castle overlooking the Mississippi River, its pointed towers and stained glass dome casting eerie shadows over the city. Built in the mid-1800s, it has witnessed political battles, fires, and even the Civil War. But its dark history is not only written in books. It is said to echo through its halls in whispers, footsteps, and restless spirits. Filmmakers have been drawn to its ghostly beauty, with movies such as The Reaping 2007, All the King's Men 2006, Delta Justice 1995, and Brothers Keeper 2013, all capturing scenes within its haunted walls. Yet what the cameras did not show were the chilling incidents that shook everyone who dared work inside. During The Reaping, a film steeped in biblical plagues and supernatural themes, strange occurrences plagued the set. One actress reported hearing the sound of a child crying from the upper gallery. When she climbed the stairs with a crew member to investigate, the sobbing grew louder, then stopped suddenly, leaving only silence and the cold sensation of someone brushing past them. The actress refused to rehearse in that section of the building again. While filming All the King's Men, the production team noticed recurring electrical failures. Lights would flicker and microphones would cut out whenever actors delivered heated speeches in the main chamber. A director swore he saw the figure of a man in 19th century clothing seated in the gallery, staring down at the cast with a stern expression. When he pointed it out, the figure vanished into the air. Several crew members later admitted they felt watched every time they filmed in that chamber. Delta Justice experienced one of the most disturbing encounters. A young actress rehearsing a courtroom scene collapsed mid-line, gasping that she felt invisible hands tightening around her throat. When she was carried out, red finger-shaped marks were visible across her neck. No one could explain how they appeared. The crew worked in uneasy silence afterward, avoiding eye contact with the dark corners of the old courtroom. Even Brothers Keeper wasn't spared. The director recalled that during a late-night shoot, a loud banging echoed through the halls, shaking the stained glass dome above. Security guards swore no one else was inside the building. Hours later, a cameraman swore he saw a pale woman in white gliding past the staircase, her form fading into the stone wall. The old Louisiana state capitol is more than just a film set. It is a living monument to Louisiana's haunted past. For those who walk its corridors, the line between history and horror vanishes, leaving behind memories that linger long after the cameras stop rolling. Number 7. Bourbon Orleans Hotel. The Bourbon Orleans Hotel, nestled in the French Quarter, is one of the most elegant yet unsettling locations in New Orleans. Once a grand ballroom, then a convent and orphanage, its walls have witnessed centuries of joy, suffering, and tragedy. Today it stands as a luxurious hotel, but behind its polished chandeliers and velvet drapes, whispers of the past remain. Hollywood has been drawn to its haunting atmosphere, with films such as Angel Heart 1987, Deja Vu 2006, Jonah Hex 2010, and Interview with the Vampire 1994, using its iconic spaces. But every filming left behind terrifying tales that the cast and crew never forgot. During Angel Heart, a film already steeped in dark supernatural themes, a production assistant fled the ballroom screaming after she saw dozens of shadowy dancers swirling across the floor, though the room had been cleared minutes earlier. When lights were switched on, the parquet was slick with condensation, as if ghostly bodies had been moving feverishly across it. Deja Vu brought a new wave of unease. Actors rehearsing in the hallways suddenly felt small, icy hands tugging at their costumes. One actress burst into tears, insisting she had heard children's laughter echoing in the corridor. Locals later revealed that the building once housed orphans, many of whom died during the yellow fever epidemic. The idea that their spirits still play in the halls chilled everyone to silence. Interview with the Vampire faced a deeply unsettling incident. As a scene was being filmed on the staircase, a heavy chandelier above began to sway violently without cause. One actor swore he saw a nun in full habit standing behind the banister, glaring at him. When crew rushed to check, the apparition vanished, leaving the iron railing ice cold to the touch. The most terrifying moment came during Jonah Hex. The director himself admitted to hearing the sound of soft prayers in Latin while setting up a shot in a guest room. Thinking it was a sound engineer, he turned, only to see a woman in black kneeling beside the bed, her rosary clutched in her hands. She raised her head slowly, her eyes hollow and lifeless, before dissolving into the air. The director refused to stay in the hotel that night, booking another place across town. The Bourbon Orleans Hotel is more than a film set. It is a stage for the dead. Every chandelier, every corridor, and every stairwell seems alive with memories, making it one of the most terrifying filming locations in all of Louisiana. Number 8. Rye's Haunted House in Tikva. Rye's Haunted House in Tikva, Louisiana, is famous for being one of the scariest Halloween attractions in the South. But beyond the theatrical props and staged frights, whispers say that something far darker dwells inside. Built on land that once held a crumbling asylum and later a military training ground, the attraction already has a cursed history. Its eerie, decaying halls and blood-stained aesthetics have attracted filmmakers, with productions such as The Houses October Built 2014, Monsters Among Us 2016, Scare Zone 2018, and Terror in the Bayou 2020 filming scenes here. Yet many who work behind the cameras insist the real horror wasn't in the scripts, but in the shadows lurking just beyond the lights. During The Houses October Built, cast members reported that even off-camera, they were followed by figures in costume. One actress recalled a tall man in a mask standing silently in the corner long after filming had wrapped for the night. When she asked who he was, The crew looked confused. No one else had been scheduled to stay inside. Later, she swore she saw the same masked figure standing by her hotel room window. While shooting Monsters Among Us, electrical chaos plagued the production. Lights flickered violently whenever cameras pointed toward the old asylum wing. The director decided to investigate and walked into the darkness with 2 assistants. Moments later, they all returned pale and shaken, claiming to have heard screams echoing through the walls, high-pitched cries followed by the rattling of chains. One assistant quit the project the very next morning. Scare Zone brought even more disturbing incidents. An actor collapsed mid-scene after gasping for air. Doctors later said there was nothing wrong with his lungs. Yet red handprints were discovered across his chest, as if something had been pressing down on him. Crew members whispered that the asylum patients buried beneath the grounds had risen to make their presence known. The most terrifying account came during Terror in the Bayou. The director was reviewing footage late one night when he noticed a strange figure in the background of a hallway scene. A woman in a nurse's uniform, her face obscured by shadow. None of the cast had been dressed that way, and when he replayed the clip, the woman moved closer with each viewing until the screen went black. Rye's haunted house may bill itself as an attraction, but for those who have filmed there, the terror is no act. Something unseen walks its halls, and no camera has ever been able to capture the full horror of what lingers in the dark. Number 9. Shreveport Municipal Auditorium. The Shreveport Municipal Auditorium, built in the 1920s, is a grand Gothic structure known for its rich musical history. Legends say Elvis Presley himself walked its stage, but today the building is just as famous for its hauntings as for its concerts. Its cavernous halls, endless corridors, and shadowy balconies have made it a favorite for filmmakers who crave atmosphere. Productions such as Mr. Brooks 2007, Olympus Has Fallen 2013, Premonition 2007, and The Guardian 2006 all used its eerie interior for chilling scenes. But what the cameras captured was nothing compared to the horrors the cast and crew faced behind the scenes. During Mr. Brooks, the crew reported strange voices echoing from the empty stage. One actress rehearsing her lines swore she heard someone whisper her name from the rafters. When she looked up, she saw a shadow figure moving across the catwalk. Security searched the area, but found no one. That night, the same actress dreamed of a faceless man watching her from the balcony. A nightmare so vivid she begged to be reassigned to a different set. Olympus Has Fallen brought even more terrifying accounts. During an intense action scene, lights suddenly crashed to the floor without warning, narrowly missing the lead actor. Crew members later insisted they had secured the rigging properly. Minutes before the fall, however, several extras claimed they saw ghostly figures pacing along the balcony, as though watching the performance of the living. Premonition lived up to its name in horrifying ways. While filming late at night, a cameraman froze in terror when he saw a woman in a flowing white gown drift across the stage. Thinking it was an extra, he called out, but the woman walked straight through a closed door. When the footage was played back, the ghostly figure appeared clearly, though no one had been scheduled to wear such a costume. The most chilling story came during The Guardian. An actress preparing for a scene in the dressing room let out a blood-curdling scream. She claimed that the mirror had clouded over and a handprint appeared on the glass from the inside, pressing outward as though something were trying to escape. When others entered the room, the mirror was perfectly clear, leaving her shaken and pale. The Shreveport Municipal Auditorium may be a temple of music and cinema, but behind its grand stage lurk spirits who refuse to leave. For every filmmaker who dares to use its haunted halls, the building itself becomes part of the story, one written not on film but in fear.